mentioned to Secretary Gates a few moments ago that I would raise the issue of SRP funds. The Department's understanding of the allowed uses of SRP funds seems to have undergone a rather dramatic change since Congress first authorized it. The intent of the program was originally to meet urgent humanitarian needs in Iraq through small projects undertaken at the initiative of brigade and battalion commanders. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Your answer was yes. Last year, the Department of Defense has used millions of SRP dollars to build hotels for foreign visitors, spent $900,000 on a mural at the Baghdad International Airport, and it's, as I understand, the second piece of art that SRP funds were used for. I'm not sure that the American taxpayer would appreciate that, knowing full well that Iraq has a lot of money in the bank from oil revenues, and it's my understanding that Iraq has announced they're going to build the world's largest Ferris wheel. And if they have money to build the world's largest Ferris wheel, why are we funding murals and hotels with money that should be used by the local battalion commander? This falls in the purview of plans and policy, Ambassador.
No, it's absolutely right, and I'll share the stage here quite willingly with Admiral Winnefeld.
Yes, sir. Just a few important points that I think ought to be made. First of all, I think we should reassure the American taxpayer.
Get a little closer.
We should reassure the American taxpayer that this money actually is being spent in our interest. As many of you have visited Iraq, you know that this type of expenditure is an absolutely critical part of the counterinsurgency strategy, the approach that General Petraeus and his team have taken. Sir.
The issue raises two serious questions. Of course, number one is they have a lot of money of their own, and number two, the choice of the type of projects that are being paid for. I would like to ask Mr. Secretary if our committee could receive a list of the expenditures of $100,000 or more within the last year. Would you do that for us at your convenience, please?
We'll work with our colleagues in the Comptroller's office and with the Joint Staff to try and get you.
That would be very, very helpful.
We can. Mr. Chairman, if I might, I mentioned that I was going to say that in my answer, but I neglected to include it, that Admiral Winnefeld and I have been talking. We're trying to balance the tension between allowing, on the one hand, the folks in the field to have sufficient flexibility to be able to execute their mission, while at the same time providing a little closer oversight. And we're looking at trying to make sure that we have sufficient not only information about projects over a certain level, but also the requirements, what kind of monitoring they have in place, and the kind of intended benefits that there are. And we are working our way. We're not quite there yet, but we're working our way towards having some criteria that will allow us to have greater oversight.
That would be very helpful. When you make your decision on the criteria, why don't you forward that along with your list, would you please?